Yesterday, Milwaukee police put out an alert asking the public for help in identifying a little boy found wandering alone. Well, today they say that little boy is related to a woman found dead in these bushes here near 41st and Hampton.
So a 7-year-old is walking around Milwaukee at 4 in the morning. No shoes. Nonverbal. Can't tell nobody what happened. Police are knocking on doors like, "Anybody know this child? And his mama? Missing." But here's where it gets dark. By the time they found her body a week later, they realized this baby had witnessed a double murder. Girl, buckle up for this one. You're watching Shadowed Crimes TV. We tell the stories that need to be told. Domestic violence, toxic relationships, and the lives lost behind closed doors. No sugarcoating, no excuses, just the truth. If you're new here, subscribe and join us as we shed light on shadowed stories. Aniya Raymond was 31 years old, a mother of 3. And if you asked anyone who knew her, they'd tell you the same thing. She was fun-loving, outgoing, had friends everywhere she went. The kind of person who lit up a room just by walking in. Her mother, Misty Raymond, lived all the way down in Texas, but they stayed close. They had this bond, this understanding between them. Misty would later say that Aniya had a lot of people that loved her, and that love was real. But let me tell you something. Aniya's life wasn't easy. She was raising 3 kids, including her 7-year-old son who was nonverbal and autistic. That takes patience. That takes strength. That takes a mother who shows up every single day no matter what. And Aniya did that. She showed up. Now, Aniya was living at a house near 12th and Capitol in Milwaukee. It wasn't her house. She was staying there as a guest, or maybe more than that, with a man named Terrence Wilder. Terrence was 39 years old, and he was renting the upstairs unit from the landlord who lived downstairs. His name was Kevin Griffin, 54 years old, owned the property, and from what we know, things between Griffin and Terrence had been tense for a while. Terrence's family would tell you he was a happy person, loved his kids, loved his family. He wasn't perfect, but he didn't deserve what was coming. Nobody does. Here's where things start to unravel. Terrence Wilder had been living in that upstairs unit, and by all accounts, the conditions were terrible. We're talking no hot water for 2 months. 2 whole months. Imagine trying to bathe, trying to cook, trying to live with no hot water in your home. And when Terrence complained to his landlord Kevin Griffin about it, nothing got fixed. So what did Terrence do? He took his complaints to the city. He filed reports. City inspectors came out and confirmed it leaking faucets, busted drains, a porch door that didn't work. They ordered Griffin to fix it all. But Griffin? He wasn't trying to hear that. Instead of fixing the problems, he started the eviction process. Said Terrence had moved other people into the unit who weren't on the lease and weren't paying rent. Terrence's family believed that was retaliation. One family member would later say, "He was upset because I called the city on him." They asked, "Do you think this was retaliation for that?" And the answer was clear. Yes, I do. So now you've got a landlord who's angry, a tenant who's standing his ground, and a living situation that's about to explode. But nobody, and I mean nobody, could have predicted just how bad it was about to get. Moving on to November 4th, that's the day everything changed. That's the day 2 people lost their lives over something that should have never escalated past a conversation. According to prosecutors, Kevin Griffin and Terrence Wilder got into an argument that day. And it wasn't about rent. It wasn't about the eviction. It was about a back door being left open. A door. That's it. But for Kevin Griffin, that was the final straw. In his own words to investigators later, he said he just lost it. And when he lost it, he grabbed a gun, went upstairs to Terrence Wilder's bedroom, and shot him. One bullet. Terence died, right there in his bed. Just like that. A father, a son, a brother gone. But here's the problem. Aniya Raymond was in that room too. She saw the whole thing. She witnessed Kevin Griffin murder Terence Wilder in cold blood. And in that moment, Aniya became a liability. She became someone who could put Griffin behind bars for the rest of his life. Griffin knew it, and he wasn't about to let her walk out of that house and call the police. So now we've got Kevin Griffin standing over Terence Wilder's body. One man dead, and Aniya Raymond right there, having just watched the whole thing go down. Her 7-year-old son is with her, and Griffin has a decision to make. What he did next. Man, this is where it gets absolutely heartless. Griffin forced Aniya and her son into his car, his Mercedes, and he started driving. Just driving around Milwaukee with a terrified woman and her child in his vehicle. Think about what's going through Aniya's mind right now. She just watched someone get murdered. She's got her baby with her. And she knows she has to know that Griffin isn't planning to just drop them off somewhere safe and let them go about their day. This man just killed somebody. And she's the only witness. Now, we don't know exactly how long they were in that car together. We don't know every word that was said. But what we do know is this. At some point during that drive, Aniya Raymond made a choice. She decided she was going to fight. She was going to try to protect herself and her son. Prosecutors say she pulled out a knife and mace. She had them on her, probably in her purse, and when the moment came, she went for them. Can you imagine the courage that took? Knowing what this man had just done? Knowing he had a gun? But Aniya wasn't going down without a fight. She was a mother, and mothers fight for their babies. But Griffin was faster. Or maybe he was just colder. He shot her, right there in that car. With her 7-year-old son sitting right there, watching. That baby had already seen one person get killed that day. Now he had to watch his own mother get shot. His mama, the person who was supposed to protect him, the person he depended on for everything. And she was gone. Griffin didn't stop the car, didn't call for help, didn't do anything a human being with a soul would do. Instead, he drove to an alley near 41st and Hampton, and he dumped Aniya's body there. Like trash. Like she was. Nothing. He left her in those bushes behind a row of houses, and he drove away. But here's where it gets even more twisted. He still had Aniya's son in the car. This little 7-year-old boy who couldn't speak, who couldn't tell anyone what he'd just witnessed, who was probably in shock, traumatized beyond anything we can imagine. Griffin drove that child back to the house on 12th and Capitol, put him in Aniya's car. Then he drove him to another location near 9th and Keefe, about 3 miles away from where he'd dumped Aniya's body. And you know what he told that baby? He told him to wait there for his mother to come get him. Wait for his mother. The mother he'd just murdered. The mother whose body was lying in an alley on the other side of town. Then Griffin left. Just drove off and left a 7-year-old autistic child alone on the streets of Milwaukee in the middle of the night. 4 in the morning, November 4th. Milwaukee police get a call about a child wandering the streets near 9th and Keefe. When officers arrived, they found Aniya's son walking alone, barefoot. No shoes, no socks. Nonverbal, unable to tell them who he was or what had happened to him. He couldn't say his name, couldn't say where he lived, couldn't tell them about the horror he'd just witnessed. Police did what they could. They took photos of the boy, put out an alert asking the public for help identifying him. They went door to door in the neighborhood, trying to find someone, anyone, who recognized this child. Because somewhere, they figured, somebody had to be missing him. But nobody came forward right away. And the boy? He couldn't give them any answers. Meanwhile, 3.5 miles away, Aniya's body was lying in that alley near 41st and Hampton, and nobody knew it yet. Days went by, People walked past those bushes, went about their lives, had no idea there was a woman's body right there. Back in Texas, Misty Raymond was starting to panic. She got a call telling her that her grandson had been found wandering the streets in Milwaukee, alone, at 4 a.m. And when she tried to reach Aniya, she got nothing. No answer, no callback, no text, nothing. Misty told reporters later, "I tried to reach out to see where she was. He's autistic. Maybe he got out of the house or something, but that wasn't the case." And then she said something that'll stick with you. "From there, something in my spirit just told me to call the morgue. Not the hospital, not the police station asking about missing persons. The morgue." When a reporter asked her, "What was it in your heart or your spirit to make you go there?" Misty said, "I was getting no answer from her. And that's unusual. Very unusual. A mother knows. Somewhere deep down, Misty knew. But knowing and having it confirmed are two different things." 1 week went by. 7 whole days. Aniya's body was still in that alley. Her son was safe with family by then, but nobody knew where his mother was. The investigation was moving, but slowly. Police were trying to piece together who this child belonged to and what had happened to him. And then, on November 11th, a week after Aniya was killed, a woman named Rosetta Lampkin Johnson was walking through the alley near 41st and Hampton. That's when she saw it.
I looked and I saw the body, and of course, I took off running.
Rosetta Lampkin Johnson and her neighbor discovering a 31-year-old woman dead in their alley near these bushes. Police say she had been shot. Did you recognize this woman at all?
Not at all.
At any point, did you hear gunshots?
No gunshot at all. To my recognition and stuff like that, she must have been, killed somewhere else and brought here.
Another neighbor came out. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. When asked if she recognized the woman, Rosetta said, "Not at all. No, not at all. She didn't hear gunshots either. No gunshot at all." That's when she realized she must have been killed somewhere else and brought here. She was right. Aniya had been shot miles away, in Griffin's car, and her body had been lying in those bushes for 7 days. Through rain, through cold, through people walking past without knowing. For a whole week, Misty Raymond had been searching for her daughter, and Aniya had been there the entire time. The medical examiner identified the body as Aniya Raymond, 31 years old. And that's when police started connecting the dots. The little boy found wandering. The woman found dead. They were related, mother and son. But who did this, and why? So police have a murdered woman. They have her traumatized son, and they're starting to ask questions. Where was Aniya living? Who was she with? What happened that night? That's when the investigation led them back to the house on 12th and Capitol, the house owned by Kevin Griffin. And when they got there, they found something that changed everything. Inside the upstairs unit, lying in his bed, was the body of Terrence Wilder, 39 years old, 1 gunshot wound. He'd been dead since November 4th, the same day Aniya was killed. This wasn't just one murder anymore. This was 2. And they happened in the same house, on the same day, by the same person. Detectives started putting the pieces together. Terrence lived there. Aniya was staying there with him. Both of them were killed on November 4th. And the person who owned the property, who lived downstairs, who had been in an ongoing dispute with Terrence? Kevin Griffin. Police brought Griffin in for questioning. And this is where it gets wild. Because Griffin didn't just lawyer up and stay quiet. He confessed. He told investigators everything. He admitted to shooting Terrence Wilder, said they got into an argument over the back door being left open, and he just lost it. That's his words. He lost it over a door. So he went upstairs and shot his tenant in the head while the man was lying in bed. That's premeditated. That's not losing it. That's murder. But then he had to explain Aniya, because she was there. She saw him do it. And Griffin knew she could put him away forever. So what did he tell police? He said Aniya Raymond was in the wrong place at the wrong time. In the wrong place at the wrong time. Like she was some random person who just happened to stumble into the situation. But she wasn't random. She was a mother. She was a daughter. She was a human being who watched a man get killed and then got killed herself for being a witness. Griffin told investigators he forced her and her son into his Mercedes. He said at some point during the drive, she pulled out a knife and mace. So he shot her. Shot her while her 7-year-old son was right there in the car. Then he dumped her body in an alley and drove her child to another neighborhood, told him to wait for his mother, and left him there alone. That's what Kevin Griffin admitted to doing. And when prosecutors heard that confession, they charged him with 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. He was also hit with being a felon in possession of a firearm because, oh yeah, Griffin had a criminal record. He'd been convicted before for stealing a vehicle. So he wasn't even supposed to have a gun in the first place.
And Ray and Blake, family telling us that he had been without water, the victim in this case, for up to 2 months, and that he took those complaints to the city. Records show that he did as well. But it was an argument, prosecutors say, between the tenant and the landlord that reached a boiling point and led to 2 murders.
A single flower and a bottle of liquor perched on the porch of the home of Kevin Griffin, the memorial for Griffin's tenant, Terrence Wilder, and Aniya Raymond, who prosecutors say Griffin killed. Behind the now boarded-up door, records show police found the body of Terrence Wilder with 1 gunshot lying in his bed in the upstairs unit.
This has been my nightmare, my hell.
His family shocked Monday.
You stole something that wasn't yours to steal. Yeah, you didn't deserve that.
Prosecutors say Wilder and Griffin were arguing about leaving the back door open when Griffin says he shot him because he, quote, just lost it. Prosecutors say Aniya Raymond, who also lived there, witnessed the murder. They say he put her and her nonverbal son in his Mercedes and drove them around. Eventually, he told prosecutors she pulled a knife and mace, and he shot her in front of her son. They say he dumped her body in this alley near 41st and Hampton, and prosecutors say he told them she, quote, was just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I won't be able to see my daughter grow old. I wasn't supposed to bury her. She was supposed to bury me.
Prosecutors say he then took Raymond's son back to his house, put him in her car, drove him to another location, and, quote, told the child to wait there for his mother to come get him. Police found the boy hours later. Records show Griffin was in the process of evicting Wilder, alleging he moved others in not on the lease or paying rent. Wilder complained to the city, saying he didn't have hot water for 2 months.
He was upset because Terrence called the city over.
Do you think this was retaliation for that?
Yes, I do.
City records show inspectors ordered Griffin to fix leaking faucets, fix a drain, and a porch door, which none appear to have been fixed at the time the landlord is charged with taking the lives of 2 people living above him.
Griffin's bond was set at $500,000, $500,000, and he's sitting in jail, waiting for his day in court. But for the families of Terrence Wilder and Aniya Raymond, no amount of money, no jail sentence, nothing can bring their loved ones back. Terrence's family spoke out after Griffin was charged. They said it's been heartache and headaches since November 4th. One aunt said, "He's not a violent person. He didn't deserve it." She was talking about Terrence, describing who he was before Kevin Griffin took his life. She also said what everybody was thinking about Griffin. "I don't know what kind of monster this man is to kill people." They said they felt relief when Griffin was arrested. But relief doesn't heal the pain. It doesn't fill the empty seat at the dinner table. One family member said, "We hope that he gets what he deserves." And when asked what they wanted, the message was simple: justice. Aniya's mother, Misty Raymond, had flown up from Texas as soon as she found out. She stayed in Milwaukee, grieving her daughter, taking care of her grandson, trying to process how something like this could happen. In an interview, she talked about the bond she had with Aniya. She said they always had this thing between them. If one of them died before the other, they'd send a sign. Birds. Anytime Misty saw a bird, That was Aniya letting her know she was still there. A reporter asked Misty, "Have you been clocking the birds lately?" And Misty said, "Yes, I have." That's a mother holding on to whatever connection she can find with her child. Because Aniya's not coming back. She's not calling. She's not texting. She's gone. And all Misty has left are memories and birds and a grandson who's going to need therapy for the rest of his life because of what he witnessed. Misty also had to set up a fundraiser just to cover travel expenses and funeral costs. Because on top of losing her daughter, she now has the financial burden of burying her. That's the reality for so many families affected by violence. The trauma is one thing, the bills are another. And what about Aniya's son? That 7-year-old boy who was found wandering the streets barefoot? He's safe now, back with family. But safe doesn't mean okay. That child watched 2 people get murdered. He watched his mother get shot. He was abandoned on a street corner and told to wait for someone who was never coming. How do you even begin to heal from that? Here's what this case comes down to. A landlord who couldn't handle being reported to the city. A tenant who just wanted hot water in his apartment. An argument that escalated into a double homicide. And a woman who died simply because she was there. Aniya Raymond didn't do anything wrong. She didn't pull a trigger. She didn't start a fight. She was just in the room when Kevin Griffin decided to kill Terrence Wilder. And because she saw it, she had to die too. That's how little her life meant to him. He called her wrong place, wrong time, like she was collateral damage in some kind of war. But this wasn't war. This was a 54-year-old man who decided 2 lives were worth less than his freedom. Terrence's family said he loved his kids, loved his family. He was happy. He had people who cared about him. And now he's gone because his landlord couldn't fix a faucet without catching an attitude. Aniya's family said she was fun-loving, outgoing, had friends everywhere. Her mother lost a daughter. Her kids lost their mama. And her youngest son? He lost his innocence. He'll carry what he saw for the rest of his life. This case is a reminder that violence doesn't just take lives. It destroys families. It leaves children traumatized. It leaves mothers burying daughters they were supposed to bury them. It leaves questions that'll never have good answers. If you or someone you know is in a dangerous living situation, speak up. If you see something, say something. If a landlord is retaliating against you for reporting code violations, document everything and get help. Because what happened to Terrence and Aniya didn't have to happen. It was preventable. But it wasn't prevented. And now, 2 people are dead. Kevin Griffin is sitting in a cell right now, waiting to face a judge and jury. And when that day comes, the families of Terrence Wilder and Aniya Raymond will be there. They'll be there to make sure the world remembers who their loved ones were. Not just victims, not just names in a news story, but real people who mattered, who were loved, who deserved better. Rest in peace, Aniya Raymond. Rest in peace, Terrence Wilder. Your lives mattered. Your stories matter. And we won't forget. If this story moved you, hit that subscribe button. We're here to shine a light on cases like this, to make sure victims like Aniya and Terrence are never forgotten. If you know someone in a dangerous situation, don't wait. Speak up. Call the authorities. Your voice could save a life. Drop a comment below. Share this video. And we'll see you next time with another story that needs to be told. This is Shadowed Crimes TV. Stay safe out there.